Good day everyone, especially to our Professor Dr. Jacqueline Macahis, and welcome to EM 212 Curriculum Planning and Development. This is the Group E pre-video presentation, and our topic is all about the curriculum planning in the Philippine setting. First, we have challenges to curriculum planning, and second, innovations in Philippine education. But before we proceed to our discussion, the Group E members are Ma'am Joanne M. Ortiz, Kindergarten Teacher, Ma'am Mayan E. Corpus, Ma'am Mavi A. Bibat, Ma'am Hanijin V. Corpus, Grade 1 Teachers, Ma'am Gracimile A. Pinuela, and Ma'am Glenna Joy G. Fronda, Grade 2 Teachers, Ma'am Aprilyn A. Ismundo, and Sir Mars A. Ismundo, Grade 5 Teachers. And I, Hanijin V. Corpus, your first discussant. What is curriculum planning? Curriculum planning is the process whereby the advanced arrangement of learning opportunities for a particular population of learners is created. Needs and importance of curriculum planning. First, the need for exactness and particularity in making decisions about ends and means demands scientific curriculum planning. Second, curriculum planning develop well-coordinated, quality teaching, learning and assessment programs which build students' knowledge, skills, and behaviors in the disciplines, as well as their interdisciplinary and physical, personal, and social capacities. The basis of curriculum planning. We have history, philosophy, social forces, psychology, religion, and contemporary issues. Role of stakeholders in curriculum implementation. Stakeholders are individuals or institutions that are interested in school curriculum. These stakeholders shape the school curriculum implementation. Learners as the center of the curriculum. For a particular curriculum design mentioned earlier, the learner is placed at the center. The learners are the very reason a curriculum is developed. They are the ones who are directly influenced by it. Learners in all levels make or unmake the curriculum by their active and direct involvement. Teachers as curriculum developers and implementers. Planning and writing the curriculum are the primary roles of the teacher. A teacher is a curriculum maker. He or she writes a curriculum daily through a lesson plan, a unit plan, or a yearly plan. The teacher addresses the goals, needs, interests of the learners by creating experiences from where the students can learn. The teacher designs, enriches, and modifies the curriculum to suit the learner's characteristics. As a curriculum developer, teachers are part of textbooks, committees, faculty selection boards, school evaluation committee, or textbook writers themselves. Some of the considerations teachers should have in curricular implementation. First, choice of the activities. Second, methods to be utilized, and third, materials to be used. Parents as part of the curriculum planning. How do parents shape the curriculum, and why are they considered stakeholders? Here are some observations. 1. Effective parental involvement in school affairs may be linked to parent educational programs, which is central to high-quality educational experiences of the children. 2. The parents' involvement extends from the confines of the school to the homes. The parents become part of the environment of learning at home. Third, in most schools, the parent association is organized. This organization is provided by law. Characteristics of a curriculum planner. First, open-minded. Open-minded is an indispensable characteristic in those who plan the curriculum. Understanding of the values of the past practices and of school community and traditions is important. Must analyze and evaluate all aspects of the program of schools to make certain in providing the best program and to avoid hindering the acceptance of new ideas. Second characteristics is willing to listen. Well-founded criticism of the curriculum and education must be listened to by the curriculum planners. Remediation of the curriculum ills strengthens the school program. The last characteristic is ready to adapt. There is a wisdom adapting relevant foreign educational practices and must not resist change and experimentation. Curriculum leaders should critically and thoroughly educational practices in other countries, seeking new plans, methods, and programs that will be useful in improving the curriculum of our country. That's all about my report, and we will proceed to the challenges to curriculum planning.
Good day, everyone. I am Glenna Joy Fronda, and today I am going to discuss about the challenges to curriculum planning in the Philippine setting. The Philippine education system has evolved over hundreds of years of colonial occupation, first by Spain and then by the US through martial law and the People's Power Revolution that brought democracy to the sprawling archipelago. The Philippine educational system firstly covers 6 years of compulsory education from grades 1 to 6, divided informally into 2 levels, both composed of 3 years. The first level is known as the primary level, and the second level is known as the intermediate level. However, although the Philippine educational system has extensively been a model for other Southeast Asian countries, in recent years, such a matter has no longer stood true, and such a system has been deteriorated. Such a fact is especially evident and true in the country's more secluded, poverty-stricken regions. The education sector's development has mirrored the changes in the country's administration. Today, the focus is on expanding access and ensuring more Filipinos receive a decent basic education as a means of reducing poverty and improving national competitiveness. The Philippines has a vibrant and diverse education system, with the government, assisted by the private sector, providing a wide range of education from early years up to college and university across the archipelago. The Department of Education oversees the provision of basic education. However, our country faces several challenges when it comes to our educational system and curriculum planning. And one of these is limited funding capacities. Limited funding capacities means the economy of a nation will determine the success of curriculum implementation. In developing countries, the numbers of pupils and teachers have kept on rising, but government money available for education is less. Although it has been mandated by the Philippine Constitution for the government to allocate the highest proportion of its government to education, the Philippines remains to have one of the lowest budget allocations to education among Asian countries. In June 2016, the World Bank published its assessment on the Philippines' reform of basic education, assessing basic education service delivery, noting that reforms were now backed with substantial increase in funding, after years of underinvestment exacerbated by average population growth. The World Bank also found differences in allocations to education in different regions at the level of both national and local government. While both have responsibility for funding education, the World Bank estimates the local contribution, which is funded by property taxes, has been declining. Over the last decade, the government of the Philippines has embarked on an ambitious education reform program to ensure that all Filipinos have the opportunity to obtain the skills that they need to play a full and productive role in society. The government has backed up these reforms, particularly over the last 5 years, with substantial increases in investment in the sector. As a result, access to basic education has increased, particularly for the poorest households, and the overall learning environment has improved. While these improvements have halted a long-term decline in education sector outcomes, significant challenges remain. In particular, the share of national income devoted to basic education has only recently returned to the levels of the early 2000s, and spending per student in the Philippines is still low compared to spending in other middle-income countries. These relatively low levels of spending per student are likely to have limited the scope of the improvements in education outcomes over the last decade. High school completion rates remain low compared with other countries in the region, and enrollment gaps among different socioeconomic groups persist. Stakeholders frequently express concerns about the quality of the education provided and about the level and breadth of skills that children possess when they leave school.
Good day, everyone. This is the continuation of our report regarding the challenges to curriculum planning. The number two challenge to curriculum planning is the unavailability of school facilities. School facilities means facilities necessary for instructional and related supporting purposes, but not limited to classrooms, libraries, media centers, laboratories, cafeterias, physical education spaces, related interior and exterior facilities. Regardless of the country, good school facilities help determine the success of students and the effectiveness of a teacher's lesson. However, with tight budgets and staff costs, the condition of school facilities is often further down the list of priorities. Studies show that school facilities have an impact on the overall school experience of students and teachers. More importantly, they also affect the health, behavior, and engagement of the students. Thus, adequate facilities make it easier for the school to deliver better education. Many parents often do not consider the quality of school facilities as a factor in choosing a school for their children, looking only at exam rates. Good equipment and facilities are part of a school's holistic approach to improving the learning environment and balancing academics with other important non-curricular activities. Whether science lab facilities or sports equipment, when a school invests in facilities, the benefits to the school go far beyond the initial capital cost. School facilities improve the quality of the study environment in the school, thus improving the quality of education. For example, if the classroom layout considers the room's acoustics, then the students will be able to focus and concentrate more on their studies with teachers facing fewer distractions. Schools can also better utilize outdoor space by installing outdoor canopies or waiting sheds so students can hang out during breaks, whatever the weather. This provides the opportunity to relax outside the classroom and allows them to refresh and refocus when returning to lessons. The classroom lighting also affects students' performance. Studies found natural light helps boost their morale and motivation, with long periods in artificial lighting negatively affecting students' concentration. What are the indications that a school is lack of school facilities? Indications of having these poor facilities are non-working or poorly maintained public comfort rooms, lack of classrooms, overcrowding in classrooms, poor ventilation, unsanitary and crowded canteens, and more. Why are school facilities important? The facilities of a school impact overall learning process as well as the mental and physical growth of the students. These also affect the academic performance of the student to some extent. Basically, facilities offered by a school affect the health, behavior, engagement, learning, and growth of the students. According to Department of Education, at least 1.8 trillion is needed in order to address the shortage of classrooms nationwide. Based on the data released by DepEd, the classroom requirements for the year 2020 is 242,603 classrooms. This figure, DepEd said, accounts for 110,954 classroom shortages, 85,524 replacements of classrooms scheduled for condemnation or demolition, and 46,125 classrooms for the last mile schools. The next challenge to curriculum planning is the teaching and learning resources. Lack of resources is the biggest challenge for parents, students, and teachers. The lack of resources amid the ongoing public health situation caused by COVID-19 is the biggest challenge for many parents, students, and teachers as they prepare for the opening of a new school year. In an online press conference organized by the Alliance of Concerned Teachers or ACT Philippines on Friday, Rose Bihag, a mother of two public elementary students from Tondo, Manila, explained the scheduled school opening is very challenging for her and her family. Classroom challenges are one of the adequate problems faced by the teachers, and a good teacher has the courage to overcome all these challenges bravely. Some of the common classroom challenges faced by teachers include lack of teamwork, minimal personal time, working towards long-term goals, arguments and students' excuses, and etc. Addressing these common classroom challenges can not only help to improve teacher but also enhance success rates of student and the ultimate quality of education. One of the classroom challenges faced by teachers in the present education scenario is the lack of time for planning. Unlike in the past, when teachers can't just finish off their syllabus and typically evaluate the students, the situation is more challenging today. They will have to handle multiple roles in the classroom, updating the subject to new demands, correcting materials, content presentations, managing field trips, as well as bringing in new creative approaches to meet the present educational trends are a few among them. Teachers are finding it really challenging to handle multiple roles as they lack enough time for planning. The next challenge is a lot of paperwork. In addition to preparing quality teaching content, it is common for school management to hand them with many additional roles including psychoeducator, social worker, counselor, and a lot. Building reliable statistics and preparing and updating student growth indicators are one of the important classroom challenges they have to handle in addition to teaching notes. Such excessive paperworks take a lot of time out of their regular schedules. This can seriously impact the quality of work they deliver. It is seriously challenging for them to handle all of this without giving space for criticism. It can take a toll over their health, and many are finding it difficult even to have a proper work-life balance.
Have a good day to each and everyone. I am Grace Simile A. Pinuela. In continuation of the report, I'm going to discuss the quality and quantity of teaching staff and poor time management by school administrators and teachers. First, we were going to discuss the quantity and quality of teaching staff. Teachers are the most important human resource in curriculum implementation since they are the ones who adopt and implement the ideas and aspirations of the designers. This implies that success of the curriculum depends on the teachers. The quality of Philippine education has declined few years ago due to poor results from standard entrance tests conducted among elementary and secondary students, as well as the tertiary level. High dropout rates, high number of repeaters, low passing grade, lack of particular language skills, failure to adequately respond and address the needs of people with special needs, overcrowded classrooms, and poor teacher performances have greatly affected the quality of education in the Philippines. Philippine education is strongly viewed as pillar of national development and a primary avenue for social and economic mobility. It has undergone several stages of development from the pre-peace time to the present. It is handled by government organization, namely the Department of Education, the Commission on Higher Education, or CHED, and the TESTA. The Department of Education govern both public and private education in all levels with its mission to provide quality basic education that is equitably accessible to all by the foundation for lifelong learning and service for the common good. The government was mandated by the Philippine Constitution to allocate the highest proportion of its budget to education. Every public school teacher has a regular full-time teaching load and is mandated to devote a maximum of 6 hours of actual classroom instruction a day. In reality, however, several additional administrative or student support roles are assigned to each teacher. These include paperwork on seminars and trainings. They are tasked to attend and additional designations in line with student guidance, budget, disaster response, and health. Teachers are likewise expected to participate in the implementation of various government programs such as mass immunization, community mapping, conditional cash transfer, deworming, feeding, population census, anti-drug election, among others. Our next topic is all about poor time management by school administrators and teachers. Curriculum implementation is also hindered by what goes on in learning institutions. Pupils' learning time is managed by administrators and the class teacher. Poor discipline is one of the major causes of poor time management because if you aren't disciplined, you won't be able to resist temptations to waste time. The thing to understand about discipline is that it is built up over time. You don't get it overnight. Some causes of poor time management is procrastination. Procrastination as a way of sneaking into your day, eating away minutes here and there, or even sucking entire hours from your day. Next is low motivation. Low motivation leads to poor time management because it offers you an excuse to procrastinate. If you aren't even motivated enough to create those to-do lists, you'll never be able to make the most out of those precious 24 hours you are given every day. Next is poor discipline. Poor discipline is one of the major causes of poor time management because if you aren't disciplined, you won't be able to resist temptations to waste time, which is mentioned a while ago. Next is a lack of focus. When your mind is constantly distracted, whether by other people, the temptation for leisure, or even other work or tasks, you aren't going to make good use of your time. We perform at our best when we are in the flow state, but we can't maintain that state if little things are constantly pulling us out of every few minutes. Why is time management important for schools? Time management tips are usually doled out to students to help them study better, prepare well for exams, or just to help them learn this important life skill within a structured environment. So why would something like time management be important for school administrators? After all, these are the adults who are in charge of students and would have mastered this basic life skill by their age. But at most, workers will tell you time management is a constant battle. With growing distraction, increasing responsibilities, and the stress of the day-to-day at any job, time management goes from just being another good quality for an adult to possess to a necessary trait for anyone who wishes to reduce the stress in their work life. The same applies to school administrators who are often tasked with the unenviable job of running an entire school without dropping the ball. The stakes are high and school administrators, unlikely plenty of other job roles, cannot afford to falter. It is in this high pressure and high stakes scenario that time management comes into save the day. For a school administrator, the difference between a smoothly functioning school and disastrous, unwieldy behemoth might just come down to how well they manage their time. That's all about my report. Thank you and keep safe. Please listen to our next topic, which is all about innovations in curriculum that will be discussed by our group mates.